My friends, welcome back to the Smoky Mirror Podcast, where we dive deep into the creative minds that are shaping our culture and inspiring us all. My name is Jordan Jones. I'm your host and fellow creator, and I'm on a mission to spread knowledge and inspiration to help people like you leave your mark on the world. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and more, join me as we explore the intentional act of creation and the forces that drive us to do God's work. Today, we have a very special episode. We're at SKUT House 2, recording at the crib in my living room. It feels great. We have Kira back for the third time. And I got to say, Kira, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you, to be honest. You hit me up. You was trying to, you said you had some things to talk about. I was scared because I wasn't ready to really record here, but you forced me to do it. So here we are, and I'm happy to be here. So thanks for coming.
Nice. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you even brought a camera too, because I only had one camera. I was like, Kira, I don't know, we might need another camera.
Do it.
She had a friend with some sweet ass cameras, so that's what we got right there. I love it. I mean, I think I started off recording in my old house with just a laptop, one mic. I was doing a recording like off the webcam with my laptop, and then like just to see all this shit. Even though it's not, where it needs to be, it's coming together, yeah. And seeing the growth, being like 67 episodes deep now.
That's crazy. That is a lot.
It's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Good
So
for you.
You're part of history. I appreciate you.
Nice.
It's great. So let's talk about why we're here. The last time you were here, you were dropping a new single. Lately, we had the release party. How did you feel about the drop? What was like the reception? How did it go?
It was good. I mean, I think I'm definitely, it's hard to know like what exactly is going to happen or how much is what feels good. Do you know what I mean? What amount of listens or whatever. But I would say I was very happy with the release. I mean, for someone doing it completely independent and whatever, I'm not, my expectation on numbers isn't something that I expect to happen overnight, but for sure for me, it's just knowing that you're getting out there and, you just never know what can happen. But it's also, there's so many countries already that have been like reached, and it's kind of funny too, because it all kind of comes full circle. So it's like, my days traveling around the world and modeling and like meeting some of those people and like looking at these countries, like I guarantee I probably know who that is listening to this right now. And it's just because of, some of the other things I'd done before to like meet people out in the world. So that's cool to see too.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like you have a really good network of people. You showed me the music video that you have coming soon we'll talk about. I mean, it was like really well done, different places. You're like, oh, I had a friend who has a crazy company. He let me use this. Like, what is your secret to like meeting all these like really cool people? Yeah.
I feel like, well, it's just kind of like you attract your crowd kind of thing. I think definitely I'm a creative and I tend to attract creatives.
Yeah.
I've kind of always been like that. But I think also there is a thing about, some people that are like, just happen to be like connectors. Like I know a lot of them personally myself, but like just know them. Like, okay, they kind of connect people. I feel like I've always been that way. For community type things, that's partially like why Kira culture is such a thing for me too. Cause it's like, I've kind of always been a good like community builder and things like that. But yeah, I think it just in general, like coming from artist background and constantly being exposed by it. And I guess all things aesthetics as well, because it's just like, I think like taste is very important. And if you're a creative person, like most creative people have taste or at least aesthetics to their specifications. And for me, I like people who are very much themselves and like very unique. Like I don't like people who just like want to be a sheep or like, cause you say something, they'll agree with you. Like, no, I like people who like disagree. Like we'll sit in a room and like have a conversation, but it's not just because we agree with each other. It's because like we respect each other and like we have different opinions and we want to like share and grow that. So yeah, I think, like I tend to surround myself with a lot of creative people. I also do a lot of creative projects and, so I'm constantly looking for more and more people to create with, to be honest. Like
that's dope.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the newest thing you're sharing with us, New Bag.
New Bag, yeah.
That's a new single you're dropping, and then I also want to talk about how you got this opportunity to perform it too. That's what you shared with me earlier. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So New Bag releases on September 8th. I think that this one, I think that definitely lately super catchy. I think it was probably the most descriptive I've heard about it. Just like it really gets stuck in people's heads.
Definitely.
And in a way that people seem to like, you know. So that part I like. I feel like it's almost kind of hypnotic. I think that this next song, New Bag, is slightly more upbeat. Like I call it my manifestation song. It's actually crazy. I could talk about a little bit about, because I went to LA to record this, right? So I went to LA, I recorded the next 2 songs that I'll be releasing. So this one, and then the one after that. But yeah, I mean, it was like a crazy process flying to LA, you know, doing the late night studio sesh for like 8 hours. I shot a music video. So I was only there for 6 days, and I'm a one-man band still. So honestly, kind of specifically going to LA and finishing everything that I set out to do turned out to be honestly a miracle, like to where it's like, you know, like you exhaust all your possibilities and you're like, that's the only options I had. Like I did everything I can, and then you're just basically like, it has to work. Like it just has to come together, because that's like exhausted all. That's all I've got. And I was so exhausted that I was like so close to like breaking point a couple of times. Like if this last call or connection, or like, cause it's also a finite amount of time. So it's like, you have only so much time to put toward everything. So that was the crazy part too, is, you know, I have some friends there, and I stayed in different areas of LA, and I kind of made that work for my production. So I kind of strategically stayed. So I was in different areas that I could also shoot the music video in, which was really cool. But yeah, definitely like every person who came together to make that happen, just, you know, as far as like the locations and like one of the main things about the music video was the car. So like, I feel like people talk about this in like fashion or, you know, other things is like sometimes like one thing is like the main thing of your idea. So like without that, there were so many things I couldn't finish. So that was like the car, and then I need to go style my outfit. So I was like waiting until the day, actually, true story, I shopped for the outfits for that show the same day as I did the shoot.
That's crazy.
So all those outfits that are in that music video, New Bag, I bought in LA.
Spoiler alert, because people haven't seen it yet. Even the Kira shirt with you on it, you got the same day?
Well, that one my friend Sade made me, I think for like Christmas or my birthday or something recently. That one I had.
I like that one. That one, it looks like...
That one I had.
Kira just seems like a famous person, like a famous singer. Like,
well, it's funny because there are no really Kiras yet, so I'm definitely claiming that one for myself. But yeah, it's a very unique name. It's one of those names where, like, the first Kira, I didn't meet a Kira until I was like 16. Was the first Kira I ever met. I was like, I was so offended. I was like, imagine how all the Amy's and the Alexes.
Right, Jordan. How do you think Jordan feels? Oh my God.
Is that really? I feel like Jordan's kind of unique.
I mean, it is, but
it's not Adam.
If you type in Jordan Jones, you're gonna find
a
list of a million different people, and the main one is like a girl. She spells her name Jordyn. I think she's like a singer. She be
Jordan Jones
kicking everyone's ass on the.
She's a singer, or she's a model.
Maybe a model.
Maybe she's a model.
But you've heard of her?
I feel like unless I'm thinking of the wrong person.
She's pretty big. She got like millions of followers. I was like, damn, I got competition to get my name out there.
I know, right? Damn.
Crazy.
But yeah, we got to claim those names. Either way, you claim yours. Names. You're the male version, okay?
Right,
Claimed
let's go.
At least.
I got to. So wait, the car, like whose car was that? Like how'd you get that?
Oh yeah, so that's another thing is like these are all friends of friends connections, but by far, for sure.
So wait, you mean these people just from modeling, training?
These specifically, actually, Rolando, shout out to Rolly. No, so actually when I went to Coachella, like not this past year, but the year before that, with my friend Michelle, who's based in Miami. You know, she's like what I call my Miami LA connector. So yeah, when I was just out with, we kind of went as like a little trio, 3 of us. So it was Rolando and then myself and Michelle, and we, you know, just met and everything, all kinds of people. But yeah, no, honestly, Rolando is the one who came through with the car connection, because it was his friend Russell's car. So I was like, but once I saw the car, it was one of those things where I had looked at a bunch of cars and I was like, no, that's the car I need.
This is the one I need.
This is the car. I don't want any other cars.
That's crazy.
So, but you know, a lot of people were like in Ibiza and traveling, and like he had just gotten back. And so the fact that he even arrived back, like I was already supposed to have shot these scenes like a day or something before he was even back. So it just like worked out because by the time we were about to shoot it, Rolando was like, wait, he's away until, and he was like, wait, I think he comes back. So yeah, it worked out that I was able to use the car I wanted.
Wow.
And then I could style the outfits and everything from there.
It's like everything's always just lining up perfectly for you.
Literally, like in the very last, like I was so close to giving up. Like I was this close. Like I was like breaking point. Like, you know, because I put my whole heart and soul into this stuff, you know, like I'm very, like I work a lot. I don't have a lot of breaks, like, you know, so I was literally like, there's nothing left in me. This doesn't work. This is it, you know? So yeah, I was very thankful that everything, honestly, I just kept saying it's a miracle because I don't like for every single, like there was only one car. There was only one, you know, like my friend Rolly did the photos for me because he's, you know, like I said, we're creatives. We're all kind of creative and like he has taste, you know, good taste in music. He plays music. He does really good photos.
Who did the videography?
So that was Alex.
Alex.
And he does videos also for my friend Rolando's parties in LA. So that's how I found him. But
so we had Alex, and then the person you were just talking about, that was Rolando, or that was
Rolly. Yeah, Rolando.
Okay. Shout out to him.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite people ever, honestly. Yeah, it was a really good time just spending time with him. But it's always jokes because I'm like showing up. I'm like letting my friends know, hey, yeah, I'll stay with you in Venice for a little. We'll do 1 day surfing. I was like thinking I'd have time for these at least fun activities in there. I did not do the surfing.
I did working the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So at least I got to do it in the different settings though. So I did hit, you know, I hit downtown LA, I hit Venice Beach, I hit some of the different areas and spots. So that was cool. Definitely. Definitely next trip to LA, I have to have some more fun though. Like definitely at least some more time.
A little me time, leisure, right?
Yeah. I really wanted to surf. And I really wanted to go to one of Rolly's parties.
Next time.
Yeah.
But let's play the song because we're over here teasing the music video, and we can have a clip for it too.
So wait, what part should I just play it from the beginning?
I think you should play whatever you want to share, and then you know.
It's not connected anymore.
Oh shit!
Hold on, here I'll do it.
Is it on?
And maybe it turned off.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see.
There we go.
It's kind of a long intro.
It's okay. We can just let it ride.
You know what, it never been easy. Believe me, everybody knows what I've been through. To keep achieving and being the best, nothing less. You obsessed, best stressed on me, but it ain't easy. What that's taking on my.
Is that a bad place to cut it? No,
I think that's good. I mean, you are like the snippet queen because you definitely be having people on the edge waiting for more. Cause
I hope so.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Damn.
And I don't know, it's just something about your voice sounds like Mariah Carey-ish or some shit.
I love that.
Like you're
she
a pro.
hits those high notes. I mean, yeah, Mariah Carey is definitely aspirational. I would definitely say like when I was younger, because I used to have like, I guess I'm a soprano. Like when I would sing in like, you know, in choir, I was always like the high notes, but it's crazy because when I learned to use, I mean, the people out there, the singers out there will understand, but like, I didn't learn to use my voice. I didn't learn to I was like, you know, it's like falsettos, like a lot of us, a different voice, right? Mm-hmm. And you got like your head voice, your chest voice. So like to learning to use my full voice, it's like, I'm like an alto. Like, what the fuck? My voice is so deep. So it's kind of funny because I'm definitely, leaning more into like, obviously I'm older now too, right? So like everyone's voice drops a bit, not only men, but also women. But yeah, it's also another thing, just talking about like full circle and things that you don't know that will come to your benefit. Like years of teaching fitness and talking while teaching, like for years and years, let me tell you, I know that's coming in handy.
Because you're like projecting your voice, you're out of breath.
Because it helps you vocal control when you're really out of breath. And I was like practicing the other day for what the next announcement is. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm out of breath. But like, thank God I've been doing, because, you know, I mean, I'll be doing like core. I mean, I was teaching at some points like 9 classes and,
that's crazy,
you know, a day and shit, like in New York. And so you're there like doing core crunches. You're like yelling at your students, like push harder. And who come to find out that now, like, you know, how long have I been teaching? Like forever. And so after all those years, I'm like, yo, that strength is definitely going to come in handy.
It definitely is. So, matter of fact, let's talk about that next announcement since you just teed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. Jamal. Yeah, so I'll be doing my first live show in New York for Fashion Week. I feel like it's very me of me because I'm like, okay, obviously I modeled, I've done the Fashion Week, I've done the shows, but I will be having the opportunity to sing as well as walk in a show. Should I say for who? Let's wait for the who and for the what day exactly. You could stay posted on the Instagram for that one. But yeah, I think definitely just the fact that, so they'll talk about the opportunity itself. Cause like we're talking about like randomly meeting people. This is a perfect example of, I did not know this man until up until I met him over basically my birthday for June when I went to New York. I haven't been to New York. Well, so people who don't know me. So like basically New York, Miami are kind of my homes. 2019, I was living Miami 2 months. Every 2 months I would go to New York for like a week. Back then I was like building a clothing line. We could talk about that another time. But yeah, I was like traveling like that for me. It was like the perfect recipe. And then obviously COVID happened and I just hadn't been back. And I was like, oh my God, that's like my city. Like I consider New York really like my home, you know, Miami and New York. And I was like, I missed it. Finally got back. But yeah, I had like, I just forget how much it's like my people, you know, cause it's like, I'm very Ohio. I'm very Ohio. I like people. Well, yeah. Cause like people from Ohio, they're very humble. Like they keep it real. They're not trying to put on any type of front, like
Midwest.
Yeah. Nothing, no fronting for you. Just like realness. So yeah, I connect with people so quickly. And basically this, so we went for a birthday. I was with my friend Sade. We went to, basically we're just like walking around to shop randomly and stumbled upon this guy's like fur and leather and fur store. Wow. So, and I'm of course in like music making mode and like performance mode. And I was like, yo, this freaking red fur, I need it. And I'm like all hyped up in this, like, you know, I'm so energetic and I was with my friends all energetic and we're just all like hyping each other up. Like, look at this. And like, we start talking to some guy there, not realizing he's like the owner. Right. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And he's like, oh, and it's your birthday. Oh, we'll give you a good discount. Like whatever, just hyping each other up. This fur, he's like, oh yeah, Mary J. Blige also loves that fur. I was like, oh yeah, Mary J., of course you would. That's my girl.
That's my girl, of course.
Of course you would. Not? We would like the same shit. That's why I like that. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, if she likes it, of course. That's why I like it. No, but it was like, I mean, the fur, perfect. I got it. That's going to be in the next video for sure. And this guy, I mean, was just like the nicest guy ever. And again, it's just like, just real people. And then like we're talking like, oh, and he was like, okay, I'll be in Miami possibly for swim week. And then you should definitely walk in the show for New York Fashion Week. And at that point I hadn't released any music yet. So there wasn't, you know, I mean, I'm not like, again, like kind of a humble Ohio. Like I don't really like talk about shit unless people like really ask me, I guess. Right. Like I'm not really like, you're not
trying to be
like
self-promoting
right.
Too much.
But I don't remember how exactly it came up. And he was like, oh, you know, we get really, you know, because it's like very big, like in the hip hop community, all these, I mean, it's very obvious when you walk in the store, it's like, I mean, this shit is just for show. It's just, I mean, it's like, it's just very eye catching. It's like, it's a great store. It's a freaking amazing. But I was like, I can see why, because it's the flashiness. It's like, this shit is sick. So I'm like, so he's talking about, oh, well, you know, because a lot of these artists love our stuff. We tend to get like crazy crowds for like, you know, Fashion Week and this and that. And it's crazy because I don't know if it's like something that he mentioned in person, but I just didn't like, I didn't fully hear him or like was just like on a different mode. But I never specifically remember him asking me to perform in the show. It was just like, you could walk in the show, right? And I was like, okay. So like flash forward, I was actually coordinating with him about some stuff I had bought from his store. And so we were talking on the phone. So he was like, yeah, so for Fashion Week, yeah, I'm definitely going to have you wear like this and that. And he's like, and so what are you going to perform too? You're going to perform, right? And I'm thinking like, I swear to God, it was like, I saw a ghost, you know? I was like, the thought of it terrified me, like instant nervousness, like something that normal Kira, like perfectionist Kira would just be like, I'm not ready. Like, that was the immediate visceral reaction of my body. I'm not ready for that. Like, whoa, like immediate, like shut down. And I was like, yeah, I got to do it, right? I got to do it. Like, that means I have to do it. Because if I don't do it, then I'm just doing the same thing and not just like taking advantage.
Right.
So yeah, the opportunity came up, and you know, they get a pretty big crowd. I guess you have your hint. It's fur and leather.
Yo,
but yeah,
that's so crazy.
It should be really fun. So I'll definitely announce that sometime, I guess, after the song. So like the song release September 8th, and then after that for sure I'll announce. But it's for Fashion Week, so that's between the 14th and the 17th of September. Really soon, by the way.
That story is honestly crazy, of just you meeting the guy, you know, oh, this is the owner, we didn't even know.
I'm telling you, like, if you're a nice person, you'll be surprised what happens. Because that's what people are like, how do you meet people? I'm like, I'm literally just a human.
Yeah,
that's
just
all.
mad friendly.
That's it. That's all. Just be normal.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's how I've met most of my connections. Like, even, because, you know, I've always had, like, I guess to a certain extent, agencies, but that's never really how I booked most of my work. It was always just like when I met people.
People knew you and were like,
yeah, I just become
Kira's
friends.
cool as hell.
Yeah, like you want to be friends. You want to be friends with the people you work with.
I love how even though you didn't feel like you were ready for that performance and everything, you still like answered the call. I think my first question is like, what makes you think, like your body initially reacted like, oh my God, like I can't do it. How did you like get yourself through that, you know, and just lean into being uncomfortable?
That's a good question. I don't know if I'll get through it until for sure getting the first performance out of the way. I would say for sure. But I will say as a girl, as a woman or female or person who's performed so much, I just have to imagine, or at least I tell myself, like those instincts must kick in at some point, you know? Because I have been on the stage a lot. I mean, I've dealt with all the things, you know, that people say happen or whatever, you know what I mean? As far, you know, I mean, as a dancer too, it's a totally different culture because it's very like arts. If the costume falls off, you don't touch it. Like, It's like, you know, very strict, like frowned upon. You don't fix your costume, you make it work, you know? So I've had those things happen, like from the time I was very young. So I've had the disasters happen. So I guess I would just say that I just hope all that is trained me to be ready, you know? Yeah. I think that's the best you can hope for. But yeah, it's definitely been a funny process just getting back into it. I think definitely, though, in the moment and hearing him say those things, I just had to like pause and like observe how my body was reacting and then just recognize that, I mean, that is my nature, right? Because that's the reason why, I mean, I am a perfectionist. It's like, you know, you don't get rid of the...
Right, you can't change that
I am who I am.
For sure.
So I just think that now that has to be like a signal of like, that's what you're supposed to go for. Like the stuff that scares the shit out of you, like that's what you got to be doing.
It's crazy. I mean, this is right on time because I was feeling the exact same way. Like you were hitting me up, and that's why I'm even like, oh, what do you even need me for? You got cameras and shit. I'm like,
no, don't do that.
I was not ready to do, you know, like this. What we're doing.
Right?
I'm just like, shit. But that's when you know, like you got to just level up and go for it.
Exactly. Those next steps.
The only people that really be blocking you from doing that is you. You're scared of like, oh, I might fail, or what if this happens? But none of that shit exists. Just go for it.
And it's always one of those things. It's funny because what was it? I know I've seen a couple of really good things about this, but it's basically just, I mean, very long story short, like people are dealing with their own shit. Most of the time, they do not even notice you. Even sometimes, even if it's a room of like, I've seen like some professional speakers talking about, oh, I performed in front of 10,000 people. I could have like got booed off stage. It's like, yeah, but like no one remembers, you know? Right. No one's gonna go home and like talk about like this guy that got booed. You know what I mean? Like it's just like everybody moves on. So I think that that's the biggest thing as well as like, you might as well, like, you might flop or it might go amazing, you know? So I think it's just really like taking the chance no matter what. Because the thing is that I think we always like to know what is the outcome, like what will the outcome be, but like, it's just life isn't like that.
So, I mean, I think it's dope as fuck.
Gotta take the gamble.
I've never even heard of people being in the fashion show and then performing. Like, you know, I've seen artists perform at fashion shows, but being in it is different.
The funny thing that's like why I say this is so Kira of me is because from the time, so I was doing shows, I'm trying to think of, like, I guess probably 18 was maybe when I did my first fashion show. Maybe 19. Yeah, I guess 19 in Miami. Yeah, it was. Actually, just remembered exactly what it was. Unzipped. It was for Miami New Times, like a Miami New Times fashion show. Yeah, I think I was 19. I got off subject, though. So wait, what did this have to do with anything we're talking about?
Nothing, right? Or should we just go back to...
Yeah.
All right, so I was wondering, like, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody, perform and like walking the show and like singing it,
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have done in the past. Even when I was in high school or college here or in Miami, I would do like walking, and not even just like walking, and like I would also do like the producing of like
Like
the
lights?
choreography.
Oh.
Like, because, I went to school for dance, so I had like, a lot of access to a lot of dancers. And like sometimes I would even like curate the actual like opening performances and stuff of the shows, be in the performance and also walk.
So you're like,
So it's
on both
funny.
sides.
Yeah. It's like I've kind of always like, I don't know. I think again, it comes down to like the dancing part went into the modeling part, because it's like really all of it is just mind's eye, like how you're able to change your perspective and understand what you look like from all these different angles, right? Because that's like how transitioning from being a dancer to a model made sense and was easy for me, because that's also like when I started to do posing for my friends who were again just artists doing photography, and we were doing what we were doing, it was just high fashion. It wasn't like we were trying to do high fashion. It was like this is just artsy shit that we thought looked cool that people would consider high fashion. So yeah, it's interesting because it's just just happens.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think that's cool. And I'm excited for that performance. So wait, can you drop the date yet, or?
For the performance?
Yeah.
I think it'll be September 16th.
Okay.
In New York.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you told me before, you're like, man, this is going to be kind of a tough song to perform. Why this song to perform then?
Yeah, for sure. I guess because it's the most high energy. Well, one, it actually just timing-wise worked out perfectly because, I'm dropping the song on September 8th, and then this opportunity came up in New York, and I was like, well, of course I'm going to perform the new one. It's also kind of the most hype one of them all. So, yeah, I thought it was perfect. Like, why not? And of course, the question was like, do you want to sing more? I was like, just one song. Like, I'm literally like, please don't overwhelm me.
Just let me start off.
That's actually, I would say that's kind of the funniest part about this process so far is like, once people see that you're doing, like, they want more in a way. So they're like, not rushing you intentionally, but being like, so what's next? What are you expecting? Like, are you trying to get signed? Are you like this or that? I'm like, no. Like, don't, like, people want to, like, not that they're rushing you, but they're kind of like, not on purpose. But like, I'm like, because that was one of the main things. I was like, don't expect me to be performing anytime soon, which is kind of the ironic part, because that's one of the main questions people have been asking. So what about performance? Are you doing any shows? And I'm like, no. I'm like, and I like, by no means am I going on tour anytime soon. So yeah, no, like little shows here and there for sure is like opportunities to like, spread the word, or, I mean, amazing. Like if I get 2,000, 3,000 people, that's 2,000, 3,000 people that have probably not heard lately or new back.
Right.
So yeah, hell yeah, that's great. I mean, it's like, it kind of sounds messed up, but I kind of am to the point where I'm like, not any publicity is good publicity, but like if it's 3,000 people who, are probably into some type of music similar to your type of music, like that is good enough for me.
No, I mean,
I'm out there.
Yeah, 3,000, that's crazy. And like live music is different than streaming it. Like when it's live, you can really connect with the artist in a different way. They just saw you walk in the fashion show. Everyone's gonna be hyping you up, so
yeah,
it's gonna be a great environment.
Like, yeah, sure. I know it hasn't really like sunk in yet, to be honest. But yeah, me practicing, I'll tell you, in my living room right now is funny. It's funny. It's yes, it's the song is really fast. So like back to what you were saying, the song is fast. I talk very fast within the song. Like the song itself is only, I think, 2 minutes and like 13 seconds or something. But the amount of words in that song, when you later Google them or like look up those lyrics, you're going to be like, yeah, like, I mean, not that anyone probably thinks of this stuff. I probably only think of this stuff because like as a writer or something. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like very popular songs that have very few words in there realistically or whatever. But it's just interesting when you like dissect it and look at it, because it's like a very short song, but there's hella lyrics in there. So yes, already I'm out of breath just getting the whole song out. So me practicing my little choreography, dusting off my little dance shoes. Right. I'm like, shout out to Annalise. So yeah, and again, just talking about being surrounded by artists, like again, another thing that's going to help coming back from my past is, I was a dancer in college all the way up from, 3 years old to college. So, Annalise and I were doubles in college together. She still lives here. She's actually, she's danced for all the teams pretty much. Like, wow. She was with the Knicks, then she was with the Heat and then the Dolphins. So she's still dancing. So wow. I had to call upon, I was like, "Hey, girl, I stopped dancing when we were doubles in college. Do you want to help me out?" Yeah, no, because we both went to A-League the same summers, at least one summer or 2 summers in a row together too.
I'm ignorant. What's doubles? Is that like?
Oh yeah, like your cast, like your second, like your double, like your one's cast A, one's cast B. Because you have you don't just, it's not like just one cast does the whole show. There's always like at least 2.
Oh, okay.
2 casts. Yeah, because usually they'll have 4 performance dates. So maybe 2 will do one and 2 will do the other.
So is it because you guys look similar or?
I wish. That would be great. She's taller. I guess, in the dance world, similar to where both tall, she's much more athletic than I am though. Oh, okay. I mean, she's she's quite taller than I am as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But dang.
But yeah,
y'all linked up, and so she helped you with the choreography? Yeah, so she was helping.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because I'm especially because she is doing dance for more show aspect, because she is, performing for artists or, mainly the sports teams right now. But yeah, so I was like, girl, help me with some choreo. But yeah, I was laughing at myself. I mean, I always have a fun time laughing at myself, but...
Do you have
shit is getting real.
Do you have a voice coach, or how do you really develop that?
Not really, to be honest. I had for a little bit. So that's actually the funny part, is I've never really had training for real, to be honest. So I always sang in choir from the time I was just forever, and obviously my dad played instruments, so I'd sing and stuff with him. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much self-taught, and I guess I would say 2020, I remember having a conversation with Hans, who we did do vocal. He lives in New York. He actually works with Atlantic Records. He's really cool. We hit it off during COVID, talking for an hour the first time we talked. He's just one of those people, you just connect with. He's super cool. But yeah, he was actually the only person I'd ever technically done vocal lessons with, and that was only a couple years ago. And unfortunately, it's that thing that's everything costs, everything's an investment. Right. So I'm it's to an extent, someone either really has to want to help you, or, and he was willing to help me out a lot, but $75 an hour to pay something consistently, I'm I get it, but I just don't usually have the time, or, to be able to do that all the time. That's a lot.
Consistently.
Yeah. I would love it. And I'm a person who, as a dancer and all these aspects, the boot camps, I love boot camps. So I always tell people I'm creating a boot camp. I'm in a boot camp for myself right now, getting ready for the show performance and stuff. And what that means is always something different. But the concept comes from really dance summer programs. Literally all you would do is eat, sleep, dance, or whatever it was you were doing. You would normally have a bunch of different courses, but that's where I get the ideas from this, is you have to put yourself through your own boot camp, pretty much.
I like that idea.
So I would love, literally nothing would make me happier than having a team where I would just be jump from person to person, ooh, you make me a good dancer. Ooh, you make me an amazing singer. That's aspirational. Yeah. I like that. So yeah, that'll be coming up hopefully.
Eventually you'll have your own little Avengers Assemble team of the choreographer.
That's goals. That's
somebody
goals.
Help you write, all types.
That's goals. I know, right? Especially as a person doing it all herself. Yeah, of course I have to pull in people here and there for help, but yeah, it's going to be great to have someone else managing the things at some point. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So we have the new single coming out, New Bag. We have the video dropping with that.
Yes.
We have the performance coming.
Music video.
Is there anything else that we have
live
exciting
show
to announce?
So basically kind of how the natural timeline, I guess, of my release, because again, I've just been trying to do my best to enjoy the process. I guess honor every part of the process too, because I tend to rush things. So I'm a very things should have been done yesterday type thing. So I've been trying to be very careful, because I also want to do things in the right way, whatever that means, right? But yeah, I've been trying to take my time, and kind of the natural progression of how it has panned out is So the 3-song EP, basically every couple months, right? Because the first one, when did I release it? July 8th. And so this one's 2 months later, and then September, October, November. So then the next song should be released by November. And then I'm working on like a little bonus track as well. So I'm hoping to release all that by the end of the year. And I would be really happy with that.
I think that's a good little schedule you got.
Yeah. And that's like me, you know, again, not stressing or not forcing, just like letting it ride out.
Yeah, no, I think that's good because it's like, let's just start with, you know, one song at a time. You don't want to drop a full project because it's like, no one's just going to listen to the whole project. But each time you drop a song, people are going to listen. People are going to watch the music video, you know? So I think you're doing it perfectly. And look, you already got one performance lined up.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what's going to happen after you drop the second one with the music video, the performance comes out. It's going to be recorded, right? People going to video it?
Yeah, I'm actually planning to hire my own media squad, to be honest.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good
so
idea.
I actually just having this conversation with my best friend or one of my best friends the other day. Yeah, because I think that's very important as well, that you have people capture things in the way that you want them to be captured, or, you know. Yeah, that's been this big moment for me. So I plan to have my own squad. Yeah, if you're in New York. You're part of the squad.
I would love to be in New York at that time, but unfortunately, I will not.
Probably not.
I'll
definitely
be down here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, once you're big, by that time, I'll probably be big too. You know what I'm saying? We'll be doing this shit all the time. Oh yeah, Kira's having a show, so I got to fly out and
there you go. Perfect.
Shit, we'll do a fucking podcast on the PJ. You know.
I'm loving it.
Goals.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, so I guess something else that's kind of cool is like this whole playlist stuff.
Oh,
the Spotify playlist things. So, just trying to get on there. But this is something I just wanted to mention to you because I think it's funny because we talked about it on the last episode about what type of music do I make, right? Categorizing music.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, I swear. I don't know if it's just like because I said it, like about the pop stuff or whatever. But yeah, apparently this is pop. Whatever. What could I say?
I feel like that's just a generic. When nobody knows, it's like cute girl singing pop music.
So this is how it came up too, because so just reaching out to the Spotify people, whoever they are, trying to get playlisted. They kind of tell you what they think you'll fit on. So New Music Friday is obviously amazing to get on. Supposedly New Bag is going to be featured on that as well. But then he also mentioned, and I didn't know whether to be, because I feel like this song goes hard. In my mind, this song goes fucking hard.
Yeah.
And guess what they said? Oh, guess what other playlist is going to be featured on?
Which one?
Wait, what did they even call this? Soft pop hits? I was like, soft. I feel so insulted.
You mean it's not gonna be on fucking Bangers 2023? Like, what the fuck?
I was like, you gave me soft pop. I'm thinking this shit is so hard.
Damn.
This shit's so hard. They're like, yeah, it's hard as soft pop.
Hard, yeah, it's the hardest soft pop we heard.
I was so offended. That shit had me cracking up. I was like, where did they come up with the name of this shit? For real. But I'm like...
So that was just for lately, though. They didn't hear that.
No, that was for this one coming up because I submitted it early because I got on the other playlist and I had the contact and I was like, hey...
I could see that, though. Soft pop. I mean, because Michael Jackson is pop music.
But that's the thing is I had, of course, being me, I had to investigate. I'm like, what does that even mean? And so I was looking at some of the other playlists. I'm like, well, I'm definitely not mad at being on, with all these other people. I mean, they're all household names, so I'm not mad at it.
I mean, if we're being honest, I feel like pop is short for popular. You know what I mean? Like pop music is just...
Yeah, pop culture, popular culture.
Pop music is like, what's popular?
Popular.
It sounds like
what's
it'd be
poppin'?
popular. Yeah, that's what's popping.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're a pop singer.
I guess so. I'm just going to have to get used to it.
But you feel like you have more R&B and soul in there, right?
To me, it's crazy. I'm like
to me, it's crazy. Maybe it's the beats. I feel like if you need a more rhythm and bluish beat. Like that was like an upbeat, The R&B beats are different, I don't know how to describe it.
No, I feel like it's funny. I mean, for me, it's like, listen, I'm like used to everything, like every culture claiming me, I'm good with all of it. I just think it's super funny to observe because it's just not, it's like, again, it's like some of this stuff that's just ironic or hilarious because it's the last thing you think of yourself necessarily, but like the first thing everybody else interprets. So you're just like, funny. How does that work? Like, and again, I'm never even aiming to make music a specific way, so I don't really care what people... You could call it whatever you want as long as you're listening to it, but it's just like, to me, it's so funny. So I just figured from our last combo, I was like, this is hilarious. Because he just told me that, like, what was it, yesterday or something? And I was like, oh, soft pop.
That's so funny. I mean, it really is like, you know, you'll have one like idea of your head of like what your art is, but other people could receive it in like a different way.
Totally
it's like,
different.
Yeah, it's crazy that happens. I think that's what's beautiful about creating things is, you know, seeing how other people receive it. That's what's really special about artists and people who make things for others. It's like, let's see what the world says about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel a way, but now let's see what you all think. It's powerful. So you got on one of those playlists, or you're trying to get on them?
Yeah,
or?
so I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'll be, again, same feature as last time, the New Music Friday, which is huge. I mean, that's one of the best ones you could possibly be featured on. And then apparently, as well as some type of soft pop
So you
playlist.
got Lately on there too? New Music Friday?
So that was, I got that on there last time.
How'd you do that?
So again, it's nothing. It was literally, so, you know, I mean, I put a lot of effort into all these things, and it was one of those last minute, like last plugs of like promo, messaging every person that song, like DMing them. And I happened to send it to some guy who works with Spotify and was like, hey, I think I could get this playlisted. But it's like, it's a process. It's actually like they have to approve it. It's not like just because you submit it, it gets approved or whatever. Yeah, but that's literally it. It was like one of those marketing somethings that was like just a shot in the dark. Like, let me just put my last little bit of effort to just send this. And sometimes this shit seems so meaningless for a person like me, or for someone who's just used to pushing so hard all the time. Like, you're just like, yeah, whatever. No one even listens to my shit anyway, you know?
Whatever. I'll just send another
They're not even gonna open it. Whatever. Like, I'll just send my
whatever. Who cares?
5,000th message here. Hopefully somebody reads it. No, people do. People read it, and like, you know, it just shows you just keep putting that effort in. But
how'd you know this was the person to contact? I'm also curious, like,
it didn't.
Maybe offline you can share their information, because I look, you want to know, like,
what,
you didn't know, like, how'd you know to DM
it's
them?
just like a person I was already in contact with. He had actually hit me up a couple times because he also makes music. He's a producer too. But yeah, no, he does some different things in Miami, and he had hit me up a couple times, but I don't really like know him. But like, you know, I'm friendly with people. I don't really mean I know you, but like, we'll be cool.
Like sending that song out.
I was just sending it to everybody. Yeah. And so it just happened to be, he worked with Spotify, but I didn't know that. But he, you know, he kind of knew who I was because we'd talked before. I just don't really know him like that. But yeah, so he just was like, yeah, I'll submit this through. And so now I have a plug. Yeah. So if anyone wants to get playlisted, I got you.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Shout out to Kira. She's for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Get your shit on Spotify
why
playlist.
Not? Listen, because it's important.
Yeah,
and the thing is, if you care about an artist, put them on a playlist. Seriously, that's what we need. That's what we need. Like, you don't know how much that helps.
Wow.
Because it's like someone will listen to your playlist. Like it's like basically like sharing on Instagram or whatever. It's like you need. It's like I get most of my plays, and even obviously like it's not like these are millions of numbers or anything at this point, but yeah, it's like the power of a playlist. You could see it even with my small numbers.
Really?
Like if you have like a barbecue playlist, or you know, if I'm chilling with the fam, or like that stuff helps artists.
Wow.
Just put songs you like on your playlist.
That's really helpful.
That's actually, it's a weird thing because it's like me being me. Like I'm all for the people and supporting people. So as soon as my friends, anytime a friend of mine, like obviously I'm not just supporting shit that's like not dope, but like I truly believe that all my friends are dope. So it's like, if you know, we all dope for our different things. Like one of us might be hip hop, one of us might be, you know, I have a lot of EDM producer friends as well too. But like, I always throw that shit on a playlist. To me, that's like, I thought people knew that. Right. Like, so I'm like, why? Y'all throw my shit on a playlist.
Throw my shit on the playlist. Yeah.
Like, you
know. It comes on, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, oh shit, that's my girl. Yeah. And that's like my next things I would say. Figuring out how to get on radio, like radio type shit more. Just people's playlists in general, like anywhere. Cause I'm like, I know people who own like a lot of establishments. Maybe if I just hit people up to even like their whatever during the day playlists or whatever, it like should help.
Like a restaurant or a little like lounge or bar. Yeah.
So that's more homework for me.
Nice. Homework. It's like The grind never stops.
It doesn't.
Never stops.
It
Are you
really
still
doesn't.
making music in this time too, or are we just focusing on?
No.
Yeah.
And
Music time is
it's
different
official.
time.
Like I was telling you a little bit earlier. I mean, for me, I'm definitely going to be paring back to, it's just going to be music and my fitness. And like, you know, I have, of course, like I design things, like I do things within it, but like, yeah, I think, let's just say, I guess it's continuing the being for myself first, and it's taken a while, still some of these old projects, and I'm like, wow, what are you doing? You're beating yourself into the ground for some of these other projects. So some of those have to, unfortunately.
Yeah, some of them got to get the cut. I think,
And it's tough,
when
but
you're a creator,
gotta do
you're
it.
making things for other people, but you got to be selfish about your creative process and your time and energy because it's valuable.
Well, that's the thing that I'm realizing too is like, you know, it's hard to put like a number on like creativity. And I think that people sometimes with like super analytical minds, or because by the way, I do too, but I'm not by any means like a business major, or you know what I mean? Like, not a finance major. Like I do my finances, but I think a lot of people who do finances don't necessarily know how to use their creative brain. So it's not like, you know, I can understand people, but people can't necessarily understand what it takes for some of these creative processes to work. And unfortunately, I think that we get undervalued a lot, and not even intentionally, because I know there's people out there that care about me and like, you know, want me to do well. But like when it comes time to like pay you, you're like, that's what you think this is worth?
Right.
I'm just constantly like baffled, like, well, I guess good luck trying to do it on your own then. Like, you know,
Right.
that's what you think it's worth.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's what I'm coming to still a lot now. I think is just taking power and like the projects you work on and like being careful. Because like, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants what they want, but they're not necessarily caring. You know, if you're taking all of your, for me specifically, my situation, like if it's eating up all my off time, like it's not hurting them, it's hurting me,
Right.
you know?
'Cause at the end of the day, people are going to be getting you to do, you know, stuff for their dreams. So it's like, you know,
That's the
it's not a
thing.
bad thing, but, you know, you can't let it take away from what you're going after also.
So that's what I'm realizing. I had a big moment the other day. I was like, wow, because I'm always I have no chill. Like I'm
No
like
chill.
all or nothing. Like I'm very
Yeah.
like, oh, and I get caught up in things because I'm like, I want to help people. I want people to do well, but yeah, no one has my back like that. So I've learned. I've learned. I just
You got
gotta
some
be-
friends though.
Oh, I've got tons of friends. Yeah, of course. But I just mean in the sense that in general, no one has your back. Like you have your back,
Right.
and I'm a person who has everyone else's back. So that's why I have to be careful. So it's like, oh shit, but what about
You
me
gotta have your
having
own
my back?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Yeah, because it's tough. Otherwise, you get lost out there. I feel like that all the time. I'm like, how did I get here? I'm out here in the wilderness
Wow.
by myself.
That's crazy.
No, just kidding. But yeah, I mean, life's crazy. I just feel like, the modern world in general has us all tripping, like
No, it
doing
definitely
too
does.
much, has us doing too much all the time.
Facts. I mean, just even with social media and like the amount of stress that I put myself under for no reason, just that has to do with posting on social media is
Right.
bonkers. It's crazy. But like that's the world we live in. And especially if you want to, you know, be successful or like grow a business, any kind of business, you have to be online, whether it be art, creative,
Yeah.
you know, boring. It's got to be online. Like
Yeah.
that dating, like, you know,
Yeah.
people talking about climate change.
Do people have time for that? Do you have time for
COVID.
that?
Oh my God. Like what do
I don't
it's
even
like-
know how
it's
people.
always-
That's what I don't realize actually. How do people have time for it? Like people, actually, my friends recently made me realize I've never dated. Like I've never traditionally dated ever.
like just went out. on a
Like
date.
just like had the actual intention of like I want to date. I'm dating now.
What is it
My
usually?
friends made me realize that. Just me being a normal person and then meeting someone that I end up dating, but it's never like intentional.
Oh.
Like people go on dating apps to date.
Right. Let me find somebody to take out. and see if
People-
I like them.
Right, but I realized I was like, I've never actually in
just
my
meet
life
people.
had because I'm also not like in a traditional sense like how people are with how they do dating, and they're like, you look like we could date, let's date. Like I'm very much like, are we like we need to be like on like name based first, and then like friend. Like for me, it's like if we can't be friends, how would we date?
Right.
Or at least if you don't have some type of like, you know.
But if you guys are friends, doesn't it like it's different, that dynamic? It's like, you know, it's friendly or whatever.
mean, yeah.
Because you can be intimate and it's still more platonic. It isn't like romantic yet, but I do feel like friendship and romantic, it's like oil and water. I mean, they mix, but not the same way.
Yeah.
Like you're friendly with someone you could be romantic with, but it's not the same kind of friendly as just with a regular friend, you know?
True.
What do you think about that?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I think
Because I mean, have you been from like, all right, this guy's just a friend of mine to, oh, now we're dating?
yeah,
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like, well, because I'm kind of just like, I guess I keep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not to say that if there was like a guy, for example, because like not like this situation hasn't happened either, but like, you know, someone approaches you and they're like, you know, obviously you want to date me, like you're approaching me as if you want to date. So I get that you're after like, okay, I want to get to know you, whatever. But I think sometimes for me, I'm like, but what did you earn for me to want me to you to like, I don't know enough about you yet to like have you taking me out for dinner.
But isn't that the point? That's the point. That's literally the point of dating, is to get to know and like, oh,
I'm like, okay, yeah. I guess I would say this. If you don't know somebody, like maybe like plan an activity or like a coffee or
Yeah, go
like
out to
something
coffee
lighter.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something lighter, or like an activity that you would normally be doing. Like if I work out and you work out and you're like, okay, I know she likes to work out. Maybe like, okay, let's go to like a fitness class and like we'll have coffee after. Like for me, that's more my vibe.
So you're saying you don't want someone to ask you out to dinner the first time?
I guess like they could, but I'm saying like, yeah, if I don't really know you like that, I'm just never gonna say yes.
Right, let's go
Like
to
if I don't
coffee,
know
something
somebody like that,
low stakes.
I would never say yes to a dinner. It's like I hardly even have time to have dinner with like the people I love the most. Like
Right,
why would
some
I?
random-
And that's like why it's hard to right. That's why it's like hard to tell people. Like I don't know how else to say it, but like you know, I don't have that. Like I'm like I pretty much always eat dinner by myself, and if I do eat out with friends, it's gonna be like. You know, like, yeah. So it's like, those are the people I love a lot. And sometimes I have to like plan that shit out like you know how it is with grown up life. Be like, wait, can we schedule you in like a month from now?
Right. So what do you,
have
like? What's
time?
the remedy? Are you just still saying fuck it? I'm focused on my career. If I
Kind
meet
of that
somebody, I
has
meet
been,
someone.
well, that kind of has been how I've been for a long time. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to be open in some way for this if I ever want it to happen, you know? Because I think that's the thing too, is like we take things for granted. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that. I also am like to the big believer of like you shouldn't have to chase something. Like, I think it should kind of happen naturally. But I don't know.
I feel like things do happen naturally, but at the same time, you have to be open to receiving them.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
And to me, it sounds. I mean, because look, if somebody obviously they have the intention of dating you, like, hey, Kara, let's go out. Maybe you could just be like, hey, let's just do coffee or something first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh, this bitch is. You know what I'm saying? Da 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 da. You know, just let people know how you're feeling. I feel like a lot of times it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Like, you're in your head, like, oh, I'm not ready for it, but. Just be open and more, chill. It doesn't have to, like, dating doesn't have to be a big project, but, you know.
I feel like I've never done it for real. I'm like, what is dating?
And that's crazy because you're like,
What's dating?
you lived a long, I'm not going to say how old you are, but, like, you lived a decent life. Like,
No, yeah. No, it's not like I haven't had, like, my share of relationships, but yeah, it's just more happened, like, where it's like, it happens.
We were
like,
in
it's
school
like,
together.
Just, I don't know, you meet people, you get along, you hang out, and then you end up together, but it was never like, I don't know, it was never like normally it's just like spending time together, but then it ends up being like, oh yeah, now we're just together.
See, because me, personally, I'd be feeling like I'd be struggling to meet people I'd be interested in dating. It's like, when you go out to the club, it's not the same.
No, and
you don't really meet people.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I work from home, so I'm at the crib all the time. So like, where do you meet people? The grocery store? The library? Like, right, hey, I see you checking out that book. Like, I was checking you out, check that book.
I was checking the book out.
Right. Some cringy ass shit. That's some shit I would say too. I'm like, fuck. I thought it was smooth.
It sounded good in my head.
It sounded good as fuck before I said it. God damn.
That's so
but
funny.
yeah, I mean, being a modern day human is hard.
It's tough.
It's hard.
For dating, for just buying normal shit like houses. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, I know, right? This shit is a
That's an
miracle.
accomplishment. I was really looking for a long time. It was stuff out there.
You know, I think everything comes in seasons. It's just like a bus. You miss one, next 15, one's coming. So you definitely don't have to worry about it. I do think it is a little spooky when it comes to like, gas prices, inflation, interest rates. That shit is looking a little, but I feel like, everything happens when it's supposed to. So I wouldn't stress out too much about it. And definitely don't force it. You don't want to make any irrational decisions.
Definitely not. Well, I'll tell you this for sure. Like when it comes to dating and relationships, all I know is nobody is gonna be knocking me off my shit. Cause this is what it always comes down to. I swear. Like the last few relationships I've had, I'm minding my own business, just over here. I swear, sometimes these guys, they like after me for like, and when I say like, some of my past relationship, like guys, their families have like known about me before I even knew they existed. Like, I'm not kidding. Like sometimes guys will be after me for so long, but then once they get me, I'm like, what was your point? Because it's like a chase for guys.
Right.
And it's like once they get and I'm like, why are we here now?
Right.
you should have just kept chasing. Right. Should have just never let you.
So I guess
but see, that's the thing that's annoying for me because I'm always the one independent minding my own business where someone's like, and then once they have you, it's just like, so, but did you want a relationship?
Like what changes? Like their attitude, the energy, like what is it that changes?
Guys are just weird. I don't know. Like, it's like, because even if, like, what I will say is sometimes I think if people are very, like, admirational, like, towards you or, like, think you're, I call it, like, shiny object. Like, it's like they're distracted by a shiny object, but it's like they think that they need to impress that thing or, like, put a certain face on or this is what she likes about me, but, like, it's not real. Like, it's like you're not really being yourself. And then like a year will go by or, close to a year of like being with a person and it'll start to like unravel. Like you see like, wait a minute, like, so people can't hold up a facade forever. And that's unfortunately like been my story more often than not, where it's like, but who are you really? And like, why are you trying to be this person that you think I want you to be? But like, you're not really being yourself or like showing me who you are really. So I think that's like a big one.
Interesting.
That's happened to me a lot. Like, it's like, oh, you're so shiny, you're so this is what I think you want, or and it's like that's not.
So it's almost
I want
like
realness. I'm like a very real person. Like, but some people like.
It's almost like they put you on a pedestal and felt like they had to, like almost like earn your approval or something, or.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just more, like assuming rather than knowing by actual experience.
So like they'll get you.
So like just because this person looks a certain way or acts a certain way doesn't mean like I'm not superficial at all. Like, like I am in a lot of superficial, and of course I have to get, made up sometimes. But me realistically, I'm like a kind of tomboy, like not a lot of makeup, like I'm athletic, like, but it's like people will see you in whatever your, let's say, most glamorous is and just expect that that's like who you are as a person. Like that's not who I am as a person. Like I'm fucking super chill and like very real. And in fact, like I especially like or just like simple stuff. Like I would never be able to be with a guy who like took longer than me to get ready. I cannot stand that shit. Like when a guy takes so long.
Like, bruh.
What is wrong with you?
I hate that shit
like pretty
too.
boys can't do it.
Pretty boys
can't do it. But yeah, so it's just like stuff like that. So like people think like, oh, because you are a model or you can reach a certain level of fabulosity or whatever you want to call it.
Glam.
It means that like that's your expectation or something.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's
like,
interesting.
Because like some people, that's what I realized with a lot of, my relationships, which is obviously why they didn't last or work, but it's like they're not really trying to understand you as a person, just whatever they think they're projecting you as.
It's like they had an idea
in their head. Right. Like I think that this is what you'd want based off what I think you are, but like I never took the time to really understand. Yeah, that's happened to me a couple. Yeah, because I would say a lot of people misinterpret like they think they see me and they think like, oh, successful and like whatever, and they think like, oh, she's just like a rich girl. Or like I get that so often, especially like when I I don't know, certain people, I don't know, they're just like, oh yeah, she must just be like a rich girl, like from like, and people that I knew from like I swear like for a couple years, and then like now I've known them for like 15, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I just thought, like, you know, you could hear a couple things about what they thought before they really knew you. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. I mean, like,
just
that's
from looking at you, like.
But that's, and again, like, yeah, it's like a crazy what people's perceptions are just from like seeing you, or like before they even speak to somebody, like, or because you have these attributes, you must be cold, or because you're this way, you must. And it's funny because it's like that could be totally inaccurate, but most people will go their whole existence understanding that, not really understanding, you know, unless you really try, like, who are you though, for real? Right. For me, I'm who people are, like, who are you? That's why, like, I'll never ask you, the first questions are never going to be, how old are you? Or like, what car do you drive? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about that.
Car do you, right.
Cause that's like anytime someone, that's like a big red flag for me. Like anytime someone comes up to me and they're like, so like, what do you do for work? Like first thing, I'm like, hi, I'm Kira. Like, what is, why are you jumping down my throat? Like, what the fuck is this?
That's like society trains
like
you, like, yeah, like, oh, what do you do?
So yeah, so like for me, it's always been like, who is the person inside? Like, how do you figure that out? But a lot of people just don't. And it's crazy to say that, even if being in a relationship, like an intimate relationship, but sometimes that stuff takes time. And usually what I find is like, when you get to almost like a year, you can start to see some of those, like, you're like, oh, so this is what it is.
Almost a
you
year.
were just totally hiding it. Yeah, like you can't hide you gotta, usually the guards or the whatever, the facades or whatever start to
come down. Ah, shit. Wow. Well, I wasn't prepared for this little dating conversation, but I think it is timely. I just don't know where to meet people at. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're not meeting people in your regular everyday life, where do you go? Like, I feel like being online is, you're like connected, but not really. You know, like we're connected, but we don't have any real connections.
Yeah.
Nobody's checking their DMs because most people aren't being serious. They're just fucking around. So it's like, how do you even reach out and connect with new people? I genuinely don't know.
Yeah. Well, this is what, because I always tell people, like, I've never done dating apps because I haven't, but a lot of my friends think it's like a funny challenge. Like once they hear that, they're like, but wait, so you're going to go on one? Like, we need to like make you one.
I'm not going to lie. I do like Hinge. I think that's like the best one.
So it's like a hookup act though, right?
Whoa.
It's hooking up though, right?
No, it's not just hooking up. You meet people and, you know what I'm saying?
But wait, so what was I going to say about that? Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think that the one good thing about it, like what people are saying, is like there's at least intention behind people wanting to date. So it's like that I get. And like, you know, if people are pure at heart and they're looking for a person, and I've actually know quite a few people who've met their person from a dating app.
Me too. I remember people who say that they met them on Tinder. I'm like,
Tinder, yeah. Tinder. What? I think one of my friends.
People meeting on Tinder to me is crazy. I'm just like,
see, and I don't even know, like, the thing is I don't know. I've never even been, like, I don't know what the interfaces even look like. Yeah. I don't know the difference is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be able to tell you, like, I know Tinder was older, right? Like Hinge is newer, but I don't even know, like, what's the difference on the inside.
Wow. Yeah.
You'll have to show me your apps.
You really haven't
I'll go
downloaded
pick
it at all. You haven't
never,
been on it
never.
at all.
No, and that's the thing is, like, for me, okay, so I'm like really big on like the story. Like, what's the story?
Like, how'd y'all meet?
Yeah, just like in general.
And that's funny because that's the thing on
for
like
me,
on
I
Tinder.
Really believe that.
It was like a joke on Tinder. Be like, let's tell our kids we met at the grocery store or some shit.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know. I just like, I'm very much on like manifesting things and like the universe working in my favor. I feel like it should be no different for when you're meeting a person.
I mean, but this is
when
literally the universe giving
right.
you the modern, like, hey, listen, we have a app that's
like
literally,
Morse.
the whole point is for you to meet people. Like, why don't you just get on it? Try it. You could be the next success story. Hinge.
Nah.
Nah. Fuck
thought
that
about
shit.
it for a split second.
I'm gonna show you Hinge offline, and I feel like you'll want to make a profile. Because the cool thing is,
swipe.
Yeah,
We're supposed to be swiping.
and you actually can see swipe right if you like them. You can actually see who likes you. You don't have to like, because on Tinder you swipe, and then like when you match, it's like, okay, it doesn't get sent to the top. Like people you like, it's just whatever. You wouldn't know you like them unless you like them also. But on Hinge, right? When they say they like you, like you can like comment on shit that people say about themselves. So some people will be like, oh, you know, I'm into fucking podcasting and oh, I'm into singing and
Part
dancing.
2 of this is gonna be me going through his Tinder.
Right. Part 2 is gonna be like a speed dating show. We're gonna have like 30 guys outside.
Oh my God, can we?
That would
actually,
be fun.
Can I be? I want to be. Actually, that would be fun. See, I think that would be fun, being like the Bachelorette or something, and like being able to date. I've never watched that show, so I can't say exactly how that works. But I would be down for my own show if people wanted to like put in an app to date me.
I mean, I feel like eventually I wouldn't be down to host that. If we can find people that would be down to do that, I feel like
Okay, I can find the team.
yeah. I mean, shit. We only need like 8 people to make it.
Listen,
But we get more than 8.
you got to get me worldwide.
That's what I'm saying. We have people flying in.
I want the Europeans to know about it.
Oui.
I mean, that's all I have my hopes set on at this point. When I move to
international
Europe,
city, why not? Why not? Wow.
yeah. So do we talk about music? Did we do it?
We
we got it all in, right?
We got all the music in, and then that's why we were able to talk about dating too. So, Kira, where can we find you at?
I am Kira Alvarado on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah,
September
that's pretty much
8th?
it. September 8th is new bag release.
The video's on the 16th.
Video, yeah, probably just released the week after. It's pretty much already done. It looks great.
I was gonna say I've seen it. It does look really good.
So it's almost done. I did I shot that whole thing in LA. I did it all myself. This one I even did the hair and makeup, which
Let's go.
again, not ideal. It's just we do what we have to do.
Made it happen.
So I definitely wore a hat too.
Very good.
You know. Just helps with the styling.
And then the performance is on the 16th.
Performance is on the 16th.
Got it. Awesome. Well,
Shit.
we're gonna be
In New York. Ooh.
highly anticipating all of that. We can't wait. And
Me
I
too.
guess when you announce the third one, you're gonna have to come back.
Yes.
The third
Might as well.
single in the trilogy, the Kira trilogy. Oh, and then we get a bonus too.
And a bonus.
A little bit of cherry
Bonus
on
track.
top. I love it.
Bonus track.
Kira, thanks. You made this happen at the house.
Yeah.
Now we can
did
do
it.
this anytime because we figured it out.
Nice. Thanks.
Let's
We
go.
need it. Now we need someone to take our photo.
Oh, facts.
Should we take a selfie?
But actually, we could do a selfie. But actually, we can do it with the camera too. Have like a remote.